Gabriel Anderson has been 7 years recruited on the ultra-modern NEVE space station as leading astrobotanist. He resides in his botany lab where he cultivates modified plants for the crew's food, water, and oxygen supply, a monotonous routine. Gabriel finds comfort in the lab's resemblance to his wife Genevieve's balcony garden, often working overtime to suppress his arduous homesickness. He had never gained the technology to test his limits before this opportunity on voyage. As part of the crew, Gabriel knows he must follow rules diligently for survival's sake. However, he aspires to prove his potential to the institution and himself through an experiment that could revolutionize the crew's resource sustainability and earn him an accolade. However, he is conflicted knowing that trusting his intuition means breaking the rules by illicitly using resources in secrecy. He risks dire consequences of not only losing the crew's trust and his prized credential if divulged, but jeopardizing each of their lives if the experiment goes wrong. As the crew brings critical resource restrictions, Gabriel desires to manufacture a long lifespan flora hybrid to increase reserves of oxygen and nutriment. He engineers the seeds of Genevieve's favorite orchid with human stem cells and germinates his creations through cybernetics. Gabriel feels that growing Genevieve's orchid seeds will be the closest to sustaining her wish to be present with him for eternity. By uncanny chance, his hybrid plant acquires consciousness. Gabriel detects signals of its communication by sound waves, and even humanoid emotions through its internal temperatures. As Gabriel's experiment caused him isolation from other crew members, he forms an unexpected connection with his creation, though he cannot comprehend why. The crew's health begins to decline as members suffer from the unidentified wane of resources. Gabriel recognizes that his obsessive lust for pioneering success is responsible for this repercussion. He did not intend to cause harm through his lust for pioneering success. He is overcome by guilt from the misuse of his privileges and betrayal of the crew's trust, all for the premature experiment yet to provide aid. Therefore, he is faced with the unfortunate conclusion that to rehabilitate the crew's health, he must cease using resources to keep his plant alive, despite their profound affinity. Confronted by his failure, a fellow crew member locates and informs Gabriel of the heartbreaking news that Genevieve had passed away. Though recently received by the voyage, her death occurred around when Gabriel had conceived his experiment. In shock, Gabriel draws a startling revelation that this is beyond a coincidence. Thinking of his wife's philosophies, he realizes the implausible possibility that the plan was imbued with Genevieve's consciousness, explaining the harmony between them. The personal fortune of uniting with Genevieve drives Gabriel to persist in involving his plant despite consequences, as his intuition insists he can replenish resources for the crew's health and redeem his wrongdoing. Persistent in sustaining the plant, a fellow crew member raises suspicion of his suspected biohazard. With Gabriel vulnerable and exposed by authorities, he justifies his secrecy by proving his creation had finally increased oxygen and nutrient supply to aid the crew's health.